Zoe, why did you choose FundAnything over Kickstarter?
Well, a friend of mine who is working for FundAnything approached me about doing a campaign over there, and I didn't really, I was probably like most of the world, like kind of heard about the idea of crowdfunding, like in the back of your ear and what it was, but I had no idea what the specifics were or anything. So I listened to what he had to say. I did a little research with Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and I found them all pretty having similar platforms. But since my friend kind of personally drew me into FundAnything, I found myself kind of more attracted to them because it seemed more personal. But then I don't have any really other experience with crowdfunding sites, but they were so involved. They helped us out. They got on the phone with us. They worked things out. They told us when they thought things weren't good. And I heard from other people that Kickstarter and Indiegogo, they just kind of like put you out there and hope you make it, So I really appreciated the personal attention from them. They're really lovely people, and they're trying to do something, which I think all of them are. They're trying to help artists in this kind of no artists help society, to be really eloquent about it. They're trying to do something to make the public aware. I was talking about everybody becoming this patron of the arts, and we need this in the country. It can't just be about texting and video games and what you can watch on iTunes. I mean, it's just, the world has gotten to be this it's like dulling itself around the edges, I think. And if we're going to do stuff to shake it up again, I think that people need to get involved in what they like and what they can see and they can support, and they can override this kind of no society. No, that's too much of a risk. No, that's too thing. No, it's about a woman. No, that's the people holding the purse strings, So it's like, I've been looking for this revolution for a long time. And I think this is, I don't think I don't think crowdfunding is the end all of but I think it's an option, and I think it's a great option. But it's an enormous amount of work, and it's a real kind of trial by error thing the first time you do it, because who could, I'm a 40-plus-year-old woman. So that wasn't really my generational thing. But at the same time, now I know, and I'm part of that new generation, and I know what it is, and I'm not just like, turn down the music, it's too loud, because, but you know what I mean? It's you become involved with stuff and you know about it, and that way you stay in touch with this new generation. You don't necessarily have to use it all the time, but instead of kind of closing yourself off to the future or the present, you become a part of it. And I think there's incredible generosity, this incredible support from people who are interested, in you, or and say things and kind of either support you or give money to you, or just to look and see what you're doing. And I think that there's something, very, warm about it in a way, that's not so warm sometimes when you're looking for money other ways.
Well, what were some of the things that they told you at FundAnything? Like, did they give you a list of bullet points of do's and don'ts?
They did. And, of course, being the rebel that I am, like, I'm not doing this, and I'm not going to do this, and I'm doing this way, and they're like, okay, whatever you want to do. But then at the end, I'm like, okay, that's not working. What should I do? And they were like, well, okay, and they helped out. And so that's great. I tend to be a very, I guess when you come from independent cinema and you're the youngest child, you end up never asking anybody for help. I'm very bad at asking people for help. And this was the ultimate ask for help, putting yourself out there, putting yourself online. It's a very vulnerable thing to do in a way, but it helped me get over those kind of fears about it. Whether you completely succeed or crash and burn, you have to do something. It's like a call to action, I'm making a movie with basically an unknown actress. I'm making a movie about something they can't figure out how to financially make it, is that going to be successful? There's a lot of, I'm making about Hollywood. I'm making, and it's kind of scathing. And so there's all these things completely people aren't really oh, great, the thing. So, I like a challenge, but I think this is what I want to do. And I think Alexia is the best person for the job. And so doing this crowdfunding and stating it out there in the world doesn't allow someone to say, oh, well, who else you could use this star instead of her? Or you can do, it's like, this is what I'm doing. You like it, go for it. You don't like it, that's okay. Movies aren't made for everyone, but this is what I'm doing, and don't change it. And so I finally got to find my voice and be very strong in my voice and what I wanted out of it. So I felt that that was, you know, all different kinds of things came out of just going into the action of this crowdfunding, which I thought was really, really interesting and motivating and telling.
What were some surprises? I mean, I know you have 4 days left as of the taping of this video. What were some surprises that you weren't aware of, either positive, negative, whatever, just epiphanies you had about this whole process?
Well, what's really sweet about like even the funding is like people come out of the woodwork that you wouldn't expect to, and it's like the most touching thing you could ever see in your life. You know, like my accountant or the guy, my dry cleaner or something. Then like they know me and they have a relationship with me and they want to see me succeed. And I just think that that kind of thing is like, you shake your head and like wipe a tear away from your eye, because you don't, it's unexpected, you know? And so there's things like that. And it's like, you know, I'm kind of not the most, I mean, I'll do the social network. I just don't know if I'm doing it right, you know? So there's a lot of contact with people, and with different people reaching out from different areas of filmmaking to fans to friends. And so you start to just have a reconnection with people. And you know, I've been living in Paris for the last 6 years, and I felt a little bit off the grid coming back to America, I gotta be honest, you know? And so it was a great way of remembering and reconnecting and becoming part of society again in this kind, I mean, it is a strange society that people belong to, and instead of being always on the outside, like I'm too indie or I'm too this or I don't need to talk to anyone, it's like, no, I need to talk to a lot of people, and I need to keep talking to a lot of people for business, for motivation, for food, like, you know, intellectual food. And so
being someone that doesn't like to ask for help, and I know that affliction very much, how do you get to cross out of that comfort zone where you do? Because crowdfunding is so much about...
I don't know, I don't even remember how I just remember starting to prepare for crowdfunding and not really questioning it, and then all of a sudden I was like, I was so nervous. Oh, excuse me. I was so nervous on the first day. I was like Kathy, you know, that cartoon with like the tears coming out of my eyes, like, oh, I don't know what to do. And, you know, as long as I didn't, you know, spontaneously combust that day, no one, you know, threw stones at me. I lived through that day and others. And so, you know, I think in this world, I was thinking about it the other day, it's like, you don't know how to do anything without practicing. And you can't be good at anything without practicing how to do it and honing your skills on every level, you know, including asking for help. So sometimes you need to get thrown in the pool in order to figure out, you know, how to deal with it and how to ask for something. And, you know, I get so frustrated because I'm like, nobody, and then someone said, well, you don't ask for anything. How does anyone know that you need help? And I thought, you know, so, you know, you're constantly working on yourself, trying to figure out how to get better at stuff, you know.